Jeffrey Jacklich, what's going on there, dude?
Well, it's I got to give the first thing the weather report. A little gloomy this morning, a little breezy. It's one of those days that when you were a kid and you're summertime and you're like had this idea in your head that it was going to be a beautiful sunny day and you're going to spend the day swimming or doing something, and then you woke up like, I can't wait, we're going to the beach today. And like the weather is just not cooperating. It's like it just totally takes the wind out of your sails. So anyway, I'm not depressed. It's not taking the wind out of my sails. It just reminded me of that was a little walk down memory lane there. So,
okay, all right. Well, I guess it can only get better then.
It can only get better.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm on the telly, the visual telephone with Brent Abel.
Well,
we are.
Pretty lucky for you, I would say. I mean, that in itself ought to be brightening your day. Forget the gloomy weather.
Hey,
the fact
I'm
that you
wagging
got
my
me
tail.
Here.
My tail is wagging.
And we have the opposite situation here in the desert today. We've got, be high 80s, maybe a 90, and there's no wind, and there it is right there.
The San Jacintos.
Yes, the big one.
Looking great.
Yeah. So, guys, listen,
right.
Thank you for hanging out with us again. Another episode of Gold Ball Hunting. Brent Abel here, Jeff Jacklich there, and I guess I'm on the hot seat today. I don't know what you're going to ask me about, Jeff. I'm kind of excited about that. Before we get into it, guys, we are still offering a free private coaching call. It's only 10 minutes. The three of us, you, me, and Jeff, we get in the phone, conference call, three-way call. And you got to bring that one thing in your game right now that is just that little thorn in your side you can't quite figure out. That if we could put you on the path to solving that little thing, you might start getting the result you want. Not once in a while, but getting that result day after day after day in your tennis game. And come on, man, that's when you really start to get confident every day that you go out there, because you kind of know what's going to happen on that day. I can't guarantee a win, or I can't, but you know that you're going to be able to bring the goods every day. So the way to get on that call with us, go over to goldballhunting.com, first name, email address, click the button, and you'll get access to two cool things. First of all, the online calendar scheduler, where you can cherry pick your own date and time for this call. But the other thing is you're going to get a private video that Jeff and I recorded a few months ago when we started Gold Ball Hunting, the podcast, and it's going to teach you more about what I just talked about, which is how do you reduce your skill level range. One day great, next day thud.
Not so much.
Not so good, right. And we want to help you bring the bottom of that range up to the top so that you start to depend on how you're going to play. So with that said, Jeff, the microphone, the stage is all yours.
That is exciting stuff. So here we go. So it's not really necessarily a question. It's really a topic. It's food for thought. And that was, I was listening to some, TED Talks and a little Tim Ferriss, and, both of us enjoy, really kind of diving in and listening to these guys who are successful and have ideas and the way what's trending, what's not, and kind of expanding our own thought process, So what I got for you here is I was listening to, it was really kind of a couple different, I'm kind of gluing together two ideas here, but they really flow, I think, really well for tennis. And then the one is, are you, and I'm not saying you, this is really a question out to our listeners there, and then we're just going to bat it around here. Are you following the majority and getting the results you want? And then the side note to that is, does practice make perfect, or does practice make permanent? And so when you put those two things together, are you following the majority, this crowd of general tennis thought and theory, and getting the results you want? And are you kind of unknowingly practicing things that are becoming that are permanently actually hindering you from getting the results you want? So how's that there you go. That's the tee up.
Well,
right
I think
there,
if
right?
we find the common denominator, it's, what are we doing that could be holding us back from getting the results we want? Would you say that's kind of the common denominator between those two things?
Yeah, yeah. Are you actually, aware of the path you're on in your path to get better, and are you aware? Are you getting the results you want? Obviously, that's a that's a big
Yeah.
indicator.
Well, I mean, I think the results, if you're playing tournaments or you're playing league matches or even on the Wednesday night crew,
Right,
it's pretty easy to measure, are you getting the results you want? Now, look,
right,
I would say most players would say, I want to become better than where I'm at right now, right?
right,
So, or they could be saying, which is what we talk about with the skill level range, is can you start to play consistently at the same skill level day in and day out? Now, maybe you're not playing every day, but often enough to where that skill level range is tiny, right?
right,
I
right.
see you keep looking outside. Have you
Sorry,
got?
a little distraction there. Sorry.
I mean, anything you got to do? Should we pause
No,
the?
no, no.
You
We're good.
okay?
We're good. We're
Okay.
good.
All right. All right.
There's always something happening though.
So, what I would say is that the first thing to do is to reduce your skill level range.
Yeah.
So you kind of find out, here's where I can realistically play at the top of my level. And we all have those days where, God dang it, why can't I do this all the time? And there's lots of different reasons why we can't. Either you're simply not playing enough tennis,
Right.
or you're just playing sets and that's it, and you're playing with the same guys day in and day out. It becomes so predictable,
Right.
and you're not really putting in any practice time. And if you are, maybe you're putting a little bit of practice time, but it's not really moving the needle in terms of
No,
skill
because
level range reduction, right?
all you're practicing is how to beat Bob again.
Yeah, well, that's right. And so I would say that should be the first thing that you ought to try to measure is whatever you're doing, are you consistently playing the same level of tennis day in and day out? And that doesn't mean that you're
Right.
playing with the same opponents all the time. There could
No.
be different, but it could be that, I mean, sometimes you'll up your skill level range and there's just some shots that your normal guys don't hit that this other player or this other team does that's a challenge for you. But
Right.
but are you consistent as a player? And for me, a lot of that is just mindset. And we talk about this all the time, Jeff, is that players do not practice the mental part of the game,
Right.
which could make you nothing different. I remember I think or maybe you were the one that brought this up dozens of episodes ago. That without doing anything, how do you actually start playing better tennis or more
Right.
consistent? With just using your same stuff. And to me, it's all about the mental part of the game. And look, I just think a lot of players are just sort of in the dark about what that means. What does the mental part of the game mean?
Right.
And okay, well, does it mean mental toughness? Well, not really. It's not like you're white knuckling. You're some kind of the airplane is just bucking all over the place in the turbulence, and you're just holding on for dear life, trying to figure
Right.
out what mental toughness is. But I think a lot of players think that's what it is. Just don't react. Don't
Right.
have any emotion at all. And that might be part of it. But I know you're laughing because I used to be the master of having a lot of emotion.
Well, we've all walked that road to some
Yeah.
degree or another. I mean, but
So,
it's learning the skill sets that actually allow you to manage it. So I think you're right. I think that's a great indicator. Like step one is what's your weekly trend? Is it these big swings day to day, or is there some sort of consistent expectation, and not only expectation but consistent result? Are we at
yeah.
least, and the result being I'm playing at a level, not am I winning and losing, but am I playing at a level that isn't so severe, but just small little waves in it.
Well, it could be right now
To do
you're
that.
playing you're playing against similar skill level players. They're not always the same, but let's for discussion purposes call it you play Bob and Al on Tuesday, and then you play Mike and Jack on Thursday, and you play Fred and Ralph on Saturday. All those guys, all things being equal, it's the same skill level. And it could be that it could be that the first group of guys, well, it could be that you have no rhyme or reason how you're going to play each day.
Right.
And so on some days you go out there and you just feel right. Everything just kind of falls into place, but you have no idea how you made that happen. And then you go out the next day and you're a little agitated a couple of days later. Something's pissed you off at work, and you go out there and someone has been in the fast lane
right
for the whole time coming over the club, and you're trying to get and so you show up in the wrong mindset, right?
Right.
And then the third day it's kind of like, who knows? So you're just so. I think the first thing that you have to do is get your head right in terms of, even if you're not practicing at all.
Right.
If you're just playing 3 or 4 times a week with no practice, you've got to get your head right. You simply have to do that.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. You've got to come up with some solution to get from point A to point B, from the office, from home, whatever, to the club. And you got to figure out, because if you're, and it happens, sometimes you got to be on a business call or something, or you get information, or there's an emergency or something that has to be handled right then. But I'd say the majority of the time, that's probably not so, that you have an opportunity to.
Well, I do think I do think that we have a lot of expectations. I think that, like, let's say you're playing Thursday and you played Tuesday, and you played okay on Tuesday, didn't get the win against, these same skill level guys. So you come out Thursday and you go, God, I really, really want to play well today. And you play worse than you did on Tuesday.
Right.
And then you come out Saturday and now you're just frosted. You're just fried to the bone, man. You're just going, look, I'm going to do something else if I don't play well. And sure enough, you don't. So to me, I think one of the big things that I've sort of accepted is that I can't fully control the outcome of the match, right? I can control some things within myself, which would be, number one, accepting that reality. I can't control everything.
Right.
So I might lose today. All right, so I've accepted that as reality. Now I'm okay with it. I'd rather win.
Right.
But I've now accepted the fact that, okay, I could lose today. Then I start playing, and in the warm-up, man, I feel just like $1 million in the warm-up. I mean, everything is right. And the first couple of games, I'm chunking balls all over the zip code, right?
Right.
And it used to be for me, I would just I would just get in the tank. And now I realize now, hey, the best chance I have of actually playing well throughout the day is to accept that I'm going to chunk a few. Hey, it's the beginning of the match. This is when, if I'm going to chunk a few, hey, let's do it now. And just trust that if I don't try to force playing well, or if I don't get upset with myself, that I give myself the best chance of.
Right.
And look, like you just said, maybe you just came from the office, you had an important call, maybe there was an emergency somewhere, your mind's not right. If your mind's not right, your body is not really kind of flowing. And so it might take you on today, it could take you 20 minutes.
Right.
You might get halfway through that first set, 4 games into it. So if you're listening to the podcast right now and not watching this on YouTube, Jeff is giving someone hand signals, which is the old, I can't do that right now. I just can't do this right now.
A little tied up at the moment. Yeah.
So, anyway,
I think so I'm gonna push this a little farther though, because I think
I mean, what was your thought? I mean, when you read these two things, what was your thought?
Well, if you look at the landscape of practice and, guys that are practicing for the Nationals, guys that are, on their team, some do both and all that, going to clinics and everything. And are you following a crowd along a path? And if you really look at this crowd that you're following to take this certain kind, these clinics on Thursday night, the team clinic on this, and that, and if look at your team, look at your crowd, right? Your tribe, and who's actually getting better following this methodology. I'm going to go to clinic on this day. I'm going to go do this, and you know what I mean? So I guess that's what I was getting at. Is the majority right? Is the question, right? And so, and then that dovetailed then into the second thought there, where practice is really what makes things permanent. We talk about, can we get our strokes to be on automatic, right? Can we get automated in that so we can really attack our strategies and deploy tactics a little more automatically, so we have time to actually process the data in the course of a match and actually change course if needed, because I can see the reality of certain things that I'm probing. I'm doing certain things. So I guess that's, my thought was kind of in seeing, we've talked about this a lot about tennis theory and who's in your tribe that you talk to a lot, and are they kind of a disciple of classic tennis theory? I don't know. It's just, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm kind of bouncing this thing around.
Well, okay. So for the first part of it, are you following the crowd? And it could be, and we actually, the topic several sessions ago was theory is only right if it actually works for you. And
right.
So, but if it doesn't work for you, then the theory is not right. It's not that. And I think way too many people think, well, the theory's right, and I'm not actually. I don't know how. I'm not skilled enough. I don't figure it. I can't.
Right.
I can't make the theory work for me, and most of us cannot make the theory out there that's given, especially when we use the pros as our models. Of course, we can't make that work.
You don't have that skill set.
I mean, whether it's stroke technique or whether it's, well, you got to crash you got to, doubles, you got to be like the Bryan brothers. Well, look,
right.
man, that's theory that doesn't work for 99.9% of the senior players out there, and that's who we're talking to.
Right.
We're not talking to players that have the same world-class athletic ability as Bob and Mike, that have devoted their life to this thing.
Right.
And so, right, you could be following the crowd, and it could be that your tennis pro is kind of the Pied Piper that is following theory, and you're going, well, he must
right.
know or she must know best. And the next thing you know is no one's really getting any better.
Right.
No one's really getting any better. So
right, and that was my point. Is kind of like, are you take a step back. I'm just encouraging everyone. Take a step back and look at the landscape of your group, your level, your whatever, at your club, your park, whatever, in the crowd that you play with. And how long have you been at it? Are you still hearing the same things, barked at you from across the net?
Yeah.
And is it actually making the boat go faster? Is it moving the needle? And are you practicing something that's becoming permanent, that's actually a hindrance for you to actually learn how to use your toolbox better? Because you're learning this thing over here that's pushing you in a direction that you can't actually deploy that, because that direction requires just another whole set of skills that go with that theory.
No, I hear you, man.
And so, so anyway, it's more of a thought that I'd really like everybody to take a moment to consider. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and
Well, look.
anyway,
well, there's no question that I think we're practicing the wrong stuff. This is something that you and I got from Craig O'Shaughnessy. We mention it all the time, and we're not practicing the things that actually matter all the time, which is serve and return. I mean, if you're not practicing the serve and getting a better serve, not meaning that you're not trying to hit aces, but that you're actually trying to really ramp up the first serve percentage, so you don't have to deal with a second serve. Even if you've got a good one, I'm telling you, your confidence is not as high
right
on a second serve. And you ought to be practicing a crap ton load of returns.
Yes.
You ought to be. I mean, in singles, look, in singles. I mean, you and I believe just unless it's a sitter second serve, if it's a decent first serve, you got to be practicing how consistent. Can you return 10 out of 10 serves right back up the middle that have got some decent amount of depth that at worst keeps it pointed?
Can I at least be at neutral after the first serve?
Right. And doubles. Can you return serve cross court to a target 10 out of 10 times? And if you can't do that, then why are we practicing groundies? Why are we practicing cross court groundies all day long?
Right.
I mean, what else?
Yeah.
And I think after that, then it really gets into if you're a transitional type of player, you have to learn how to play the game from what I never it used to be called no man's land, but you have to learn how to play shots from within there. And if you might play the whole point from in there after you return or after you serve, just because.
Right.
I mean, just because that's the way the situation calls for it. But if you're not comfortable, playing in that area of the court, halfway between or maybe a little bit closer to the service line, man, it's going to be a tough. So I guess we got off topic here. But I think you got to be practicing reality. And Jeff, you're right.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to figure out, am I getting better as a player? Am I better than I was a year ago? Right? Are you? Well, you should know. You should absolutely know if you're a better player than you were a year ago. And it doesn't have to be from 4-0 to 4-5. I'm not talking about.
No.
But if you've gone from 4-0 to 4-2, have you done that in the last year? And I think it's a pretty easy way to measure it. It's basically knowing the skill level of your opponents. Wins and losses, I think they matter in terms of measuring how you're doing.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
It could be you're playing this one guy that used to beat you 2-0 almost every time.
Right.
Now he's beating you 4-3.
Right.
I would say that's a pretty good measurement right there.
Yeah, I would say so too. Yeah. Yeah.
So what else can I tell you? What else can I say?
Well, it was like I said, it was just food for thought about, so it was just an idea that I think tennis is one of those unique sports and endeavors that it's very easy to get caught up with the highly popular, the experts and the classic kind of tennis talk, tennis speech that comes out. And I just think it's, everybody should take stock in their own development and kind of go, just take a moment to go,
Yeah. Well,
anyway, there you go. There you go. I don't know if we.
I'm going to have to. I think on iTunes, the name of this episode is going to be Episode number 108. Okay. All right, guys. Well, listen. I think we've kind of batted this one around long enough for you today. Hope you got something out of it. And I think you ought to go really sort of make an honest assessment of where your game is at. And I'm going to actually, this thing has given me a topic for our next recording.
Awesome.
So make sure that you listen to our next recording too as well. In the meantime, guys, if you want to get on a free 10-minute coaching call, private, you, me, and Jeff, goldballhunting.com, first name, email address, and then click the button and you'll get access to our online calendar scheduler where you get to cherry pick the date and time that works best for you. Not about me and Jeff. This is about you. We're continuing to give, except for now, we're asking for a little reciprocity. Jeff, what would we like to find folks to do?
We want you to like us, share us. Please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below.
Guys, get out there today. Whether it's gloomy there in Napa Valley or it's beautiful here in the desert, come on now, get out there today. Help someone else have a great day. Jeff, we'll do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.